everyone. My name is Paul, and you are lucky enough to be here for the It's Leanne's Birthday, February 2017 edition of the PracticeMaster Virtual User Group meeting. If you know Leanne, be sure to call her, wish her happy birthday. I think she's 27. Today we're going to be talking about how to customize the main tab and all of its implications. Mary Jo will take that topic. And I am going to talk about, at least for a bit, the Matter Manager. It's one of those things we could talk about for a long time, but some of our clients have never been in there. So we figured it might be a good thing to talk about at the virtual user group meeting. Without any further ado, I will press the magic buttons. And I think I'm remembering, Mary Jo, that I forgot to load PracticeMaster. So hey, let's see what happens when we get out here. Yep, sure enough. That's all right. We're still in tabs from the tabs virtual user group meeting. So I'll just go over here and load up PracticeMaster, and Mary Jo can take it away and tell us all about customizing the main tab.
It does help if we unmute our phone. That is always good. Okay, so we're talking about this main screen right here in PracticeMaster and all of these little icons that are already there. Now, out of the box, these might look different than what I have on my screen. We may have modified this already. This is sample data, so it might have been different than what I have on my screen. But all of these icons can be changed. Now, we talked about this for the tabs virtual user group meeting, but one thing that's different in PracticeMaster is when I change an icon here, my toolbar up here also changes with it. So anything before this little line, right here, this little break line in there, all correspond directly to what I have on this main task folder. So I have client, there's client. I have Matter Manager contact, and contact search is my first line, then it just starts over, and all of these line up. I change one here, it changes here. So if I'm on another tab, I don't have to come back to the main task folders. I have it up here on my toolbar. So if there are certain functions that you do all the time, specific to you, because this is a user setting, I change this for me, it only changes my task folders, not anybody else's, I can make these work for me. If I don't need to have the journal icon here, I can change it to something else. That will change the journal icon up here to something else. So to do that, we're just going to click on Customize. And once I click Customize, then any one of these icons that I click on will be able to be replaced with something else. So I'm going to click on the journal, and this gives me a list of all of the things that I can replace the journal with. From everything from having nothing, I can remove the button and just have a blank spot there, to all of the different file functions, backing up, getting into Matter Manager, document. All of these things are all file related, getting into the other file section, all the way down. I'm going to go down here, even the maintenance, the text macro file. All of these are file related. Then I get into the calendar options. Out of the box, I want to say that the calendar is the daily calendar. If you use monthly or weekly calendar and you want to put that there instead, you can change that icon to that particular calendar view. And that will then be the one that shows up on the toolbar. So here's all of the calendar functions that we can do. Then we get into the document functions. Those are all in here. And then it starts with the reports. There's all kinds of reports that we can add in here. So from the daily report, the file definition report, graphical calendar, all of these reports here can be put in. And then even this, the direct link to Report Writer. So I don't have to go into Reports, get to Report Writer, or go into this Reports tab and get there. I could put the Report Writer icon there and just get right into that whole list of customized reports that you've done. We also have all of our search functions here. We have the conflict of interest and the contact search up here, but if we want to change the order or we just didn't need one or the other, we could fix that and get these other search settings in there as well, as far as document search, those kinds of things. And then we start with our maintenance. So any of the back, I always call them the back office kinds of things in the back that you're going to do, all the little maintenance things. So renumbering, all of that's included in that. And then our utilities, your data file integrity check, your initializing, indexing files. And then lastly, we've got other, where you can see the active user list, exit the program, list your help topics. Again, those are underneath help or on the little yellow question mark, but you could list those there. And you also can have the PracticeMaster web browser. So I'm going to just change this journal one to something else. So we'll change it to the data file integrity check. Maybe I do that all the time. I want to change that. Now when I click my run button and say yes to change it, you see the icon up here changed as well. So now I have a direct link up here, so no matter which one I'm on, I still have that up here so I can get to it quickly. So think about it in the sense of what do you want up on your toolbar and what you get into all the time. And then for some firms, I know that there are some users that we don't need to even have this many options, so you can make a lot of these blank and then just have just the icons that they need to use. And I think that does it there. I will just touch really quick that in PracticeMaster, the report tab also has a customized. So if you do all these different report writer reports and you want to put that report out here instead of having to drill down and get this whole list of report writer reports and try to find the report that you want to do, you actually on the reports tab can customize that as well and dig into these report writer reports and pull them out here onto the screen. So that just makes it one more step easier. You don't really have the ability to pull in report writer reports specifically to the main tab, but you can do it on this report tab. So that makes it a little faster to get those customized reports that you've created out on a place that you can just click rather than drill down and search. And those are the two that we have that ability to do in PracticeMaster. Paul?
Awesome. Now I'm going to go into the Matter Manager. But before I do, I'm going to go into the Client Manager, just because that's where most of our clients tend to go. There's a little more functionality in here. But now I want to go to the Matter Manager, and I happen to know that that icon right there is for the Matter Manager. And so since Mary Jo taught us how to customize this button bar, I don't have to get back out to the task folders. I can just click the Matter Manager right from there. Of course, I clicked the wrong thing. And there we go. Click the Matter Manager and load it right up. Now, I'm going to switch back to the Client Manager just for a second, because this is where people are used to going. If we find that a lot of people that are using PracticeMaster have never even been in the Matter Manager, so we thought we'd take a little time today to talk about it. So this is where people are used to going, and things are organized on tabs. So you pull up a client you want, you get to, let's say, Larson versus Belcourt, and you can go to tabs to show you different things. The address, the claim number, which is probably something we put in just for fun, WC info, these are tabs we just added to demonstrate things, people, fee, email, things like that. For some people that works very well, but a lot of people like to see things organized in more of a single screen orientation. And so we can take and go into the Matter Manager and do it in what we call an all activity view. And I have a client that calls this Facebook for Matters. It's basically a wall, if you will, of all the important things in chronological order. So we see things like emails, and if you're putting documents in PracticeMaster, you'll see documents and fee entries and tasks and timer entries, and here's some documents down here. Costs, all these things can show up directly in this one screen called the Matter Manager. That's why that one client calls it Facebook for Matters, because you have everything together but in a chronological order. Now there are different views that you have. For instance, all activity encompasses everything that there is to show in this screen, but you can also go straight to things like costs, or straight to things like fees, or you can create your own combinations, and I can do that down here. I can show you what that looks like with this phone and email. This has taken only phone notes and emails and pulled them into this special screen, kind of like the all activity, but only pulling certain aspects. Mary Jo, remind me, how do we create those? Do you remember? I don't remember either. I think it's right here. If we right click here and say new, nope. There we go. So if we go to custom activity list, we can add a new one, and we can choose all these different things, and whether it's an all user thing or just this user thing. You give it a name, and you can say, well, I want to see documents, events, not tasks, phone, email, not notes, not research, but I want to see fees and costs. So I can have this unique activity list, not all activity, just these things, and I'm going to call it test activity list and say OK. And I'm going to close, and now I have a new thing here called test activity list that just shows me those things. Kind of cool. Another thing that's really, really neat in the client matter manager, not the client manager, is the billing summary. Never before have we had a place in PracticeMaster outside of going directly into tabs. We've never had a place just in PracticeMaster where we could see this sort of information. So we're looking at Kelly Ann White's divorce case, 850.00, and we can see that she has not received a bill, or at least not one that she still owes on, that she has $140 in WIP fees and $500 in WIP costs, and if we were to send her a bill today, it would be $640. She has nothing in client funds, but she does have $875 in bank account number 1 for the IOLTA account. If she had a previous balance, we would be able to see how it ages according to these aging periods. We know who the primary timekeeper is in the billing category. We know when her last payment was and how much it was. And we know that her last statement was number 7596, and it was on 10/31/14. A lot of useful information that attorneys really want this sort of information in a format that they can get to and that they can understand without having to go into tabs and try and figure out how to get to that information. We also have the same sorts of buttons down here. We can get into the tabs 3 client manager directly from the matter manager. We can assemble Word document records. We can start a timer record. If you have World Docs, you can do World Docs integration. I'm not seeing it because I don't have World Docs integration set on for this particular user in PracticeMaster. You can go to the report writer. You can do conflict of interest searching. A lot of different things can be done with the buttons down here. And then we have people here. Now, these are the people that are tied to the matter in some way, usually through a people record. And these are the people that are actually tied directly to the matter. Who's the client? Who's the client contact or the matter contact? So if we had Peterson Insurance, for instance, let's choose one of their cases. We'd see information about Peterson Insurance here and information about the contact here. Of course, we can click on any of these links, or we can hover here and click on the telephone numbers or email addresses for these people and start an email, or if you have integration with an IP-based phone system, then you can start a phone call. And it remembers what your most recently active cases were. So you don't have to sort through this list that we're all used to seeing in the client manager, because we can just merely find, or usually find, the case we're looking for based on the fact that we had it pulled up earlier. So if I now want to go back to Michael Larson's ADA employment issue, and then after that I want to go back to Kelly White's divorce, I can usually switch very quickly just with this list of most recently active matters. You can add new records from here, so you can say, well, I want a new note for Kelly White's divorce, or a new calendar item, or a new fee entry, or a new timer record. All these things can be done directly from here with that. And so you've got all that going for you. And if that's not enough, and by golly, it sure ought to be, if we go into tabs 3 Connect, we can see, give me a second to type without talking. We can, and I'm going to go straight in fee entry because that's what I demo most often. We can see the matter manager from here. So if I go up here to and select Purdue Law Offices, Purdue, our sample client, I can see the same sort of information in tabs 3 Connect, which is our way to access information like this from outside of our network, from outside of our office. I can see the same sort of information in tabs 3 Connect, oriented in the exact same way that we're seeing it over here in PracticeMaster. And one last thing, I can go into the client manager and pull somebody up. So if you're used to working in here and you're like, okay, well, I can do certain things in here. I like the way I can get around with tabs, but every once in a while you want to see that particular client in the Matter Manager. There's a link over here under Take Action and Quick Clicks, Matter Manager. It takes me straight to the Matter Manager for that particular client. And look, there's Linda Purdue. I always wondered what she looked like. And so here we're able to have that direct link between the client manager and the Matter Manager, so you don't have to live in just one or the other. You can be in one and switch very quickly to the other. And that's that. Next month, we are going to be talking about moving. Mary Jo's going to talk about moving items to a different client. She's going to talk about what you do when you've got something in the client manager, like a calendar item, that's assigned to the wrong client. So she'll talk about that. I'm going to talk about what to do when you've got 14 tasks that are on your task list for today that need to be moved to another day. We've built some workflows, and I'll show you how we did that and kind of give you some pushes in the right direction toward being able to manage your calendar, and especially your tasks, by moving things forward. Oh, these 7 things I'm not going to do till next Monday. These 4 things I'm going to do tomorrow. These 6 things that are left I'm going to do on Wednesday. Being able to very quickly move them around without having to go into each record and say, take this one to tomorrow, take this one to next Monday. And what would it be if we didn't take you to Attorney Computer Systems with an emphasis on that last S in the word system right there, attorneycomputersystems.com. So we could show you that if you go to the videos section, either by hovering or clicking, you will see lists of all of our video content, our 3 virtual user group meetings, one on tabs, the one you're in now on PracticeMaster, and one on World Docs. We also have another live event called the Coffee Pot Webinars that I give each month. And we have our 2 pre-recorded video topics or titles. We have Mary Jo's e-bite video series, short little 3, 4, 5 minute snippets of really cool things we find that aren't earth-shattering or don't take a great deal of time to explain. And our longer format Paul and Mary Jo show, where we take those broader topics and go into more detail, spending 10 or 15 or sometimes 20 minutes discussing and demonstrating each one. If you click, for instance, on today's PracticeMaster virtual user group meeting, where we are now, you will be taken to a page that describes it, tells you what the next one is, when it is, gives you links to register. Both these are links that take you to the same place, and tells you exactly what our topics are. As you scroll down, you'll see recorded versions of the previous month's content. This is the one we're in right now, so it's currently in post-production. But as we go down even further, we have YouTube videos of every single virtual user group meeting since we started doing them. So there's literally hundreds and hundreds of videos on the site with a whole broad spectrum of topics that you can either browse through or use the search functionality to go directly to what it is that you're looking for. So there you have it. Everybody have a good rest of the day, good rest of the month, and we will see you in March. Thanks much. Bye-bye.